Perfect. So first of all, thank you so much for Yesam for actually organizing this webinar. I am thrilled to talk to each one of you here, and hopefully I can make this webinar informative enough for everybody over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to probably use 30 to about 35 minutes, maximum 40, to educate you. And then we can leave the last 20 minutes for any kind of Q&A that you want, any other information that you have. I don't know if you're allowed to unmute or not, but usually Q&A is through the chat box. So, you can ask through chat box. If unmuting is allowed, then very happy to talk about it as well. So yeah, I think let's get started. So let's start with the agenda for today. So we're going to talk about introductions, meaning what we do, types of international Olympiad, why should you do it, and the categories, like what subjects, what are the qualifiers. This webinar is really based for only and only Turkish people. So I've customized it to, something that you either locally qualify for internationally, or you could use a local qualifier Olympiad as a part of Turkey to get to the final round of, the actual Olympiad. So I've done that. So that's that. Let's talk about myself. My name is Reema, and I am the founder of Edufit. I have my master's from University of Chicago, and my journey before I ended up becoming an entrepreneur started off when I started at working at Deloitte Touche to Hatzma as a part of cyber risk. My first exposure to education was when I worked as a test prep coach as a part of C2 Education and Princeton Review at San Francisco. And it's been about as a single tutor, it's been about five. I started this journey in 2019, but as a part of this organization, we're about 2.5, 3 years old. So far, we've done close to 5,000 students. And, we started off as an SAT, ACT institute, but now we've panned into about 167 offerings across verticals. Our specialty remains SAT, ACT, of course, and APs. We also do all of the UK exams that are there for Imperial, Oxbridge, whatever, all of those, TMUA, TSA, LNAT, every single exam uh, are that is there under the belt is what is covered by Edufit. And our pricing usually ends up being the most competitive in the market, or at least so far that we understand. We don't come in the most expensive belt. We're affordable tutoring in minimal possible time. So like, our TSA program is only 20 hours. You can master TSA in 20 hours. A TMU is only 30 hours. So yeah, that's what it is. And that's a little bit about Edufit and me. Let's get on with what are Olympiads. Now, I feel this topic is supremely important to address because it is a black box for most people participating in this webinar, because people, first of all, don't understand what are Olympiads and why is it important to do Olympiads. So Olympiads are prestigious competitions across various academic disciplines. It could be physics, chemistry, math, English, history, geography. Name the subject, there is an Olympiad over there. Most of the Olympiads are actually multiple choice questions and can range for the time frame of taking the exam, like the time limit, to be about 40 minutes to even 9 hours. Like 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours split over 2 days. Olympiads, some are easy, but for most of the time, Olympiads are extremely challenging. They challenge your thought process. They actually give you a chance to showcase your problem solving ability. They are also the only way to show academic rigor. So I think Yasim would be the right person to kind of talk to you about this. But usually academic rigor is a very, very important component when you talk about education, outside of Turkey. And they look at holistic profile, and they usually talk about school grades and AP exams and test prep. But the only other way you can really demonstrate academic rigor is Olympiad, because you'll be surprised at how not so easy it is. And if you prepare well, how easy it is to score on it. It also is used to promote competitive spirit. Some of these Olympiads start off as an individual juncture, And then, when you qualify at a national level, the government of your respective country actually puts you in a team so that you can go and represent, Turkey at a national level or at an international level. So it starts off as an individual qualifier. You score a certain level, you're picked, you're handpicked, you're chosen, and then you're put in a team. You are trained by the government to get over there, and then you go and you represent it. It is the most underrated vertical that anybody can get, and which is why I'm going to demystify this in today's webinar so that you understand what are the types of Olympiads. Okay. Now, before you even go to actually see the types of Olympiads, which is generally a very dry topic, let's talk about why should you do the Olympiads. I'm going to talk about two of our students who studied, who are currently at really prestigious schools like University of Michigan and UC Berkeley, and they had a chance to either communicate or speak with the admissions officer responsible for admitting them, or they were able to read their own application once they got an acceptance. So I'm talking about the student called Yuval Gupta. He went to university, he still goes to University of Michigan economics for his admit was fall 2022. This student goes to the admissions office a year after he got admitted, and he speaks to the admissions office, and he asks them, what do you think? I want to read my application file. I want to see my Common App that was submitted to see what went right. I want to understand, why did you give me an admit as compared to thousands of applications that you must receive specifically for economics. And he got to read his admission file, at least the comments on it. And there were three comments that actually, there were only three comments that were made besides the individual comments on the top of the application. The first comment said, the SAT score was 1550, and the IB, the International Baccalaureate predicted, was 44. The second comment said, demonstrates academic rigor by participating in Olympiads. This student had participated in International Economics Olympiad and stood 21st across the world. Third, demonstrates deep interest in economics related activities. So he'd done a lot of economics conferences. He was running a club, all the activities, right? But of all the things that he could have done, this was what was mentioned on his application. This is what he read. And this, which is why it becomes even the more imperative for all of you to participate and know more about Olympiads, and more than anything, be vigilant about it. I think what is missing is awareness. So and so Olympiads exist and you need to do it, as compared to, oh, it's not like you don't want to do it. It's just the awareness is missing. And that's what we're going to use this session to kind of go ahead. The second session is Ashni Joshi, UC Berkeley, fall 2023, astrophysics is what she got into. I'm quoting the admissions officer, but not from Berkeley. She also made it to USC, and the name of the admissions officer is Julie. And she, I actually got a chance to speak with her. And in that entire process, she said, among the many applications that showcased strong academic achievements, Ashni's application stood out due to her impressive performance in USAAO, AMC, and IPHO. These are Olympiads that you would know as we go ahead into this series of webinars. But yeah, her involvement in these competitions reflect profound passion for this physics and distinguishes her from other candidates. So she was somebody who had 5 in her APs. She was somebody who had a 1550 on her SAT. Her academic score in the local board was 95% on 100. And her extracurricular activities were spot on. But it was, these were the things that made her stand out amongst a sea of applicants who were probably at the same level as her in terms of the rest of the profile. And of course, there could be other factors, but this is what she told me. So yeah, that's that. So that's why it's supremely important that you should do Olympiads to whatever level besides demonstrating intellectual curiosity. So types of Olympiads and how to crack them. Let's go ahead. Now, as I said, Olympiads are offered in every vertical that you can think of: physics, math, biology, chemistry, computer science, astronomy. Did anybody ever think you could have an Olympiad in astronomy? And English. There are many more, but if I use this time to elaborate on every single Olympiad. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the entire bit of it. So I'm going to restrict to a few of the Olympiads. And then if you need more help, you can always get in touch with me, get in touch with Yasim, and she could redirect you to us. So that's that. Math being the first Olympiad that we will tackle, because usually for any STEM oriented course, whether you're doing engineering, if you're doing data sciences, you're doing anything else, math remains the pivotal one. Also, one of the most famous Olympiad is known as the AMC. AMC stands for American Mathematical Competition. AMC is offered at three levels: AMC 8, AMC 10, and AMC 12. AMC 8 is very basic Olympiad. AMC 10 advances a little bit. AMC 12 is going to rack your brains. Now, a very common question that would come over here, and a lot of people would ask me is it mandatory to take 8 before you take 10? No, it's not. People who've not done AMC 8 and 10 can still take 12. It's not mandatory to take 8 to take 10. However, it is recommended that you take AMC 8, 10, and 12 so that you go in a chronological order and you build it up to a point where, the ground floor is sorted and the second first and then the second, because AMC 8 does lay a good foundation for AMC 10, and AMC 10 obviously leaves a great foundation for AMC 12. So if you actually kind of shortchange into AMC 12, they will have to redo a few concepts of AMC 8 and 10 so that you can do 12 better. Okay. Now, what is the format of AMC? It's just 25 multiple choice questions. That's about it, whether it's AMC 8, AMC 10, or AMC 12. But please don't be mistaken that just because it's 25 multiple choice questions, it's going to be ABCD, I'm going to mark anything. AMC 12 is one of the most rigorous Olympiads that you can go through. Same goes with AMC 10, and it has one of the highest values for any STEM-based course, math-based course that you want to take it. Top scorers what's a good score on AMC 8, 10, or 12? So AMC 8 is out of 25 points. AMC 10 and AMC 12 is out of 150 points. I think this is in the next slide. No. Okay. So 18 plus on AMC 8 is considered a good score out of 25, and 100 plus on 150 is considered a good score on AMC 10 and AMC 12. And only 20% of top scorers score 100 plus on AMC 10 and AMC 12. So that is the rigor. What's the amount of time that you will take to train? Approximately 20 to 50 hours, depending on where you stand mathematically in terms of your knowledge. For AMC 8, about 50 hours for AMC 10, and about 70 hours if you had to do a full-fledged course for AMC 12. Now, what happens if you make it to the cutoff? So what is a cutoff? Cutoff is depending on all the participants in the US, across the world, how they've scored. They decide a score which is considered to be a good score, and they demarcate it as the cutoff score. If you cross the cutoff score, top scorers of AMC 10 and AMC 12 qualify for the next round, which is the AIME. Here, you have 15 questions only. So it's come down to 15 questions. It's from 25, 1 point each, and no negative marking. There isn't any negative marking for even AMC 8, 10, or 12. Okay. Now, let's say you score the top score in AIME. Then you get qualified to go to USAMO, USAJMO. This is only 6 questions and 7 points each. But it is supremely tough. You really have to. A lot of people do end up going to AIME, but it's after AIME where the tough spot starts and you kind of cannot get to USAMO. I've seen very, very, very few students who actually qualify for USAMO or USAJMO, either ways, right? And let's say somehow you are a mathematical wizard and you put in the work and you've qualified for USAMO or USAJMO, then Your country will put you together in form of a team and send you to IMO, which is International Mathematical Olympiad, to represent your country. And this is the biggest achievement you can get. There is no Olympiad that is bigger than IMO. It's conducted in different countries, and you go in as a team. So AMC 8, 10, and 12 are at an individual level, can be accessed through an online registration form. If you get qualified, you go to AIME. If you get qualified, you go to USAMO or USAJMO. And then the government picks and chooses and says, hey, you know what? You guys make a great team. Let's put you to IMO. So that's essentially what the Math Olympiad looks like. I think from what I understand, and my knowledge may not be the most supreme when it comes to admissions, but having AMC 8, 10, and 12 on your application, or at least 10 and 12 on your application, is great because it does demonstrate academic rigor when it comes to showing math or math related subjects. So anything which is engineering, math, data sciences, business analyst, to some extent, even business, right? If you're looking at these majors, doing AMC 10 or 12 is great. Try to get 18 plus, not an easy task, but not difficult as well. If you put in the right amount of effort, you should be able to get an 18 plus. However, getting an 18 plus qualifies you for AIME, not sure. It really depends on the cutoff. They really want to be selective about who goes into the next level. So that's a little bit about AMC. I just also put in a timeline for the Math Olympiad. So usually AMC 8 is around November, AMC 10 or 12 is around February, AIME is early March, USAMO and USAJMO is around mid-March, and IMO is July. And not that it matters, but I think the key dates here would be 1st and 2nd, which is AMC 8 and AMC 10 and 12. If you are kind of there, I think those would be great if you can get a great score for AMC over there. And preparing well, having the clear concepts, you are going to definitely have it. All right. So I am going to now, should we take questions now, or I can just go on, right, Yesham?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, however, I think the flow, you're on a roll, so I would just keep going, but it's up to you.
Okay, yeah, fair. So I just want to...
If there are questions, people should feel free to like put those in the chat so we can see. I don't see any yet.
No problem. I mean, I'm sure there will be more coming up as we go ahead. So the next Olympiad, which is there, is the IPHO Olympiad. Now, this is actually a 5-hour exam, tests you on physics, and it has 2 parts, which is the theory exam and the practical exam as well. So it's not just going and taking the paper. Yes, the theory exam is multiple choice, but the practical exam does ask you to do experiments and data analysis. The eligibility is grade 9 through grade 12. So you don't usually, you had AMC 8, 10, and 12, which say you could do in grade 8 or below grade 10 or below grade 12 or below. That's not the case for IPHO. As long as you are in high school, from grade 9 to 12, you should be able to do it. Now, how do you participate in it? It's an international physics Olympiad, and it's, to get into this is the next level. So the first level that you need to cross is participate in the Turkish National Physics Olympiad, which is organized by the Turkish Physics Society, and, it's held in March. Once you score here, then you can go to the IPHO. The reason I write IPHO is it's like IMO, right? The highest level of Olympiad that you can get for math. Similarly, IPHO is the highest level of Olympiad you can get for for physics. But to qualify for it, you need to go through a local Olympiad, which is the Turkish National Physics Olympiad. I also have a document wherein I have documented links to each of these where you can go and register for them. I can share that with the Yesham and she can share it with the participants. I just didn't feel it was the right thing to put it on a presentation because any which ways it would be not clickable, and it didn't make sense to put it in here. So I have that. You can just have a look at it and figure that out from that point on. The next one is the IBO, which is the International Biology Olympiad, very similar to IMO, IPHO, and IBO. Again, eligible for grade 9 to grade 12, and you need to do the Turkish National Biology Olympiad, which is organized by the Ministry of Turkey. to go over, to kind of go and participate for it. The selection process is the top performers of IB, the top performers of the Turkish Ministry National Olympiads are the one that kind of get qualified for IBO, and you can go about doing it. In my opinion, as compared to the physics and math Olympiad, International Biology Olympiad is relatively easier because it's more theoretical. You don't need that application based methodology. It's factual. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you cannot mess up with the facts, right? Nobody can twist you with the facts. As long as you have your facts clear, International Biology Olympiad, anybody who's aspiring to get into a medical field or biomedical or anything which is related to biochemistry, genetic engineering, all of those, this would serve as a fantastic base. It's relatively easier. I also feel this is one of those where you may not require as many as much coaching as compared to physics and math, because they can really twist and turn questions, but biology, factual is factual. So it's a relatively easier Olympiad for people who don't want to stress out too much and aspire to get into biology field. The next one, and this is my favorite, the USACO, United States of America Computing Olympiad, one of the most famous Olympiads. Technically, until last year, you were not allowed to participate in USACO until otherwise you were associated with a school in United States, or your school was affiliated with some kind of high school. But recently, they kind of made this Olympiad online. It's an online Olympiad. So as long as you have a connection, a stable connection, you should be able to take the USACO. It has 4 categories. So bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. It is a hardcore coding Olympiad. If you're one of those coders, you aspire to get into computer science, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be a part of the next FANG company that comes up, or one of the FANG companies, which is Facebook, Netflix, all of those, the tech companies. This is your place. This is also one of the most underrated webinars. A lot of people don't even know about it. Like, when people want to demonstrate academic excellence when it comes to coding, they code these huge projects and put it on a database and create applications, but nobody ever thinks about USACO. It is not a tough Olympiad. Again, it just polishes your skills and it tests you on coding. 4 levels. Bronze is in November. If you qualify, you go to silver. December, if you get qualified, you go to gold January, and platinum February. It's back to back. There is no thinking about it. You just need to prepare. It takes 40 hours to prepare for USACO. And of course, top performers are like, once you clear your platinum round, you're invited to the USACO finals. And I had this one student from Hong Kong who actually made it to the finals. And he actually told me it's crazy how, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, how nerdy this entire USACO final can get, because it's a bunch of coding nerds and they're speaking a lingo that nobody will understand, but then they get the work done. So if you're one of those who's obsessed with coding, this is your place. This is, what you should be doing. And this is the webinar. I mean, this is the Olympiad you should definitely be participating in. The next one is the ICHO, which is the International Chemistry Olympiad, similar to IPHO, IBO, and IMO. Again, you need to be participating in your local competitions, and then you get qualified for the National Chemistry Olympiad. And then the finalists of National Chemistry Olympiad kind of get into the International Chemistry Olympiad. These are all group webinars. So you'll be representing your country, but not easy. And my favorite one, I really love this one, which is IOL, International Olympiad in Informatics. So this is basically, again, I mean, it is you again, I mean, students can start by participating in a school level programming competition. It's not hard to get in, right? Like, you just get out there, you do the IOL, you participated in it. It's also a coding business analytics kind of an Olympiad, but not basically like USACO, which is like supremely hard. Relatively easy. If you want to take it easy peasy, you can go ahead and participate in this. It will take you to NOI, and then of course IOI, which is IOL, which is the International Olympiad in Informatics. So now the last topic for today, which is what is the importance of Olympiads. I just covered a few of them. I actually have another list of Olympiads that Turkish students can do. I did a little bit of research. I spent a good 3-4 hours, which is not necessarily this, but yeah, I can share that list with you as well, Resam. Feel free to send it to everybody. Again, as I said, importance of Olympiads, it demonstrates advanced knowledge. It's not something that um, it's not for the faint-hearted. Let's put it that way. While it seems there are only 4 or 5 questions, think at the level of questions that they are, that they're putting it as a qualifier. It is one of the best ways to highlight intellectual curiosity. I was born and raised in India, and I see students here doing Olympiads from as early as grade 4 or even 3. And of course, I didn't cover the middle school or the elementary school Olympiads, but people start doing that very early. It helps you in challenging your brain, developing your brain, clearing your concepts. If you end up going to one of these STEM based Olympiads, I promise you, your school subjects will become like super easy. You're like, okay, it's going to happen. I'm just going to float through school because that's the rigor. It indicates commitment and dedication. It's not easy. As you see, all of these Olympiads range between 30 to 70 hours of prep time cumulatively, which is a lot. And until otherwise you're committed to it, you're not going to be able to do it, which is why it is so important for the admissions officer to see that. It definitely provides a competitive edge. This is something I can vouch for 150%, because you can run this by admissions officer. You can write emails to them. You can even ask KSM, because she's your advisor at some point or other. She will vouch for it that it definitely gives you a competitive edge. It supports a rigorous academic profile. You can have APs, you can have all the tests, you can have all your academic profile, you can have everything else, but it's the Olympiads that will differentiate you. Of course, it showcases problem solving skills, and especially if you're looking at STEM programs, this is something that is for you. You can definitely go ahead and participate in this. A structured approach to this will definitely help you get your everything basic in place and also get good scores. So yeah, we do help you with all of this prep, and these are our direct numbers. You can also get in touch with the ASIM. That's my company website, and I'm open to take more questions. I made my 30-minute mark. I didn't make it to 40. I was trying to not put it to 40. I don't want to make it a drag. So yeah, I'm
Uh,
going to pause here, and I hope
I,
if you have any
I just,
questions, feel free to
I
ask.
just want to say this is often, like you said in the beginning, a black box. It's something where you don't see the components really clearly for parents and for students even. So I think you've clarified it to a great extent. So thank you for that. And I'm curious what they'll ask. We did get a question for your contact information, which is right here. So perhaps everybody can take a screenshot, right? From the
Yep.
meeting. Other thoughts, and maybe if there are any students who are competing, maybe they can tell us about their experiences as well in Turkey.
That is brilliant. You should definitely look at USACO. There's somebody who says, my son is a bronze medalist coding in Tubatic Olympiad. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason of doing the international Olympiads is it gets you more recognition, because it's not you put it against nationally, you put it against every person who's there out internationally. I think it's great. Oh, yes. Genius are fantastic. I love them too. Wow. You have a really smart son, I have to say.
Are there any students with us?
Sure.
No, no students. Um, Reema, you also talked about your company and what you handle broadly in the beginning. Do you have Turkish students? You have now some now, right?
A few of them, yes.
Yeah.
They reached out to me. So we do have Turkish students. We have a lot of Greek
Yeah.
students.
Greek students too, yep. Because is your training personal or in a group?
Only one-on-one. We don't have anything which is a group class. So it's very personalized, and it's bases mutual availability of the student and the tutor.
Thank you. I mean, what can a ninth grade
Yes.
student apply? Yeah.
Yes. So eighth grade qualification is eighth or below, 10th is 10 or below, but above eight, right? And 12 is about 10, but like below 12. So 11 and 12. Yes, a ninth grader can apply for AMC 10. They
What
should
I
apply for AMC.
what I liked when I met Reema, what I liked about what they're doing, they're actually a US-based company. Not that it matters, but you have very credentialed network of tutors from what I've seen. The quality seems to be very high, very effective, and also I think oftentimes, especially for Oxbridge tests, we can't find anybody in Turkey, so we have to go to UK or the US, and they end up being super expensive. And Rima's group has been a lot more reasonable, so it actually really works really well for Turkish families, I think. Yeah.
I agree. So our goal is basically to be affordable, but
Yeah.
at the same time, compress the course in the most effective way, right?
Yeah.
Like I earlier said, a TSA can be done in 20 hours, and 20 hours with mock test solving. It's end to end. Also, we're very vigilant on the quality of our tutors. So I think before even a tutor joins our company, the first thing we do, even before we do their diagnostic test evaluation, is a psychometric evaluation, because we feel that there has to be a really good match of the tutor and the student. I should know what is the strength of the tutor and what kind of students will they be better suited to work with in terms of the student. And after that, we have a diagnostic test. When they clear a certain threshold is when they are, then we teach them the Edufit methodology on how we would like our students to be treated. I think I'll also show you something since we're talking about it. So these are, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So these are all of our groups. If you see anywhere SSAT, I wish there was a tab where I could just pull up the groups. But
You're in a
everything is on
group.
WhatsApp. Like
Yeah.
you can see this, um, math IAs, SAT prep, APBC calculus. So this group basically has the student and the parent and the tutor. So it's 100% transparency. A lot of this is also our admin team. So even if I am flying out, like somebody or the other is always there to kind of respond to you and take your query. And it's pretty responsive and very, very personalized. And we encourage our tutors and students to only talk about like talk through, like, this is a GRE prep girl, right? So if there's any cancellations happening, despite doing everything should go on the group, that it kind of maintains, like this physics student, it kind of maintains a lot of transparency for all of us. So yeah, that's essentially what we do.
There's a couple of questions. Somebody asked if you accept all levels, or are you very selective in
What do you
students?
mean by
I
levels?
think, yeah, that's what I said. So I guess you would accept anyone who needs help, right?
Yeah, as long as they need help.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, also, how much more difficult would studying for the chemistry Olympiad make my IB
Pretty much at the same level, but I think it's not about the content, it's about how to answer the question. You know how you write APs? It's not about the content. Like if you look at IBHL chemistry and AP chemistry, the syllabus is pretty much the same. And yet it's so difficult to get a five. It's not about how you write it. It's not about the content. It's about how you write it. So the curriculum will be in the ballpark of what you do for IB, but to spin it in a way so that you get the maximum scores is what is important. And that's where we come into picture.
Some great questions.
Do we have more questions?
And maybe we should tell them you'll be in Turkey, right?
Yes, I'm going to be in Turkey from the 14th to 24th, right?
Yeah, they're joining our college tour, which will be, we did this last year. We did a fair in Istanbul. I'm assuming a lot of you are from Istanbul. I don't know. But we were at Çevre, which is very close to like all the Üsküdar, Koç, that area, Erenköy, değil mi Hande? And that'll be on the 15th, I think, in the evening.
On the 15th, on the 15th of October.
So you can actually come and meet Reema and, some universities. And you want to talk about who's going to be there? We'll have a lot of interesting universities. IESCG from Paris, Lucerne Applied Sciences, NYU, SUNY, Hofstra.
American
A lot of folks are
University,
coming.
Rome.
American University is coming. Yeah.
So,
So Reema will be there, and Lumiere is coming. We're gonna announce it, it's gonna be at Chevre in the afternoon. So it'll be open to all parents and all students in the city. And then we'll take the same group with a bus, and we're off to Bursa and then Eskişehir, and then
and
finally
Ankara.
okay, yeah, we're doing a whole tour of, that region. So we're really excited, and we're excited that Reema is coming too.
No, I'm
Izmir,
excited to see.
Jonathan, we were there in the spring with a slightly different but crowded group of schools. We did advertise it through our channels. So if you're not in our groups, please contact Hande or I. However you found out about this, we'll put it on our Instagram feed. And we do email it out if you're on our CRM database. So we will definitely come back to Izmir in the spring with a different tour. But some of the same people will be there. So if Reema wants, we'll love to have her again, obviously.
Oh, of course. I am really excited. So I visited Istanbul as a tourist in
Uh-huh.
2021, and I'm in awe of that country. I'm in awe of Turkey. I did most touristy stuff like Istanbul and Cappadocia and what was that? Pamukkale and Izmir and Bodrum. But this time is going to be a very different kind of an
Forward.
exposure.
But what
I am really excited
I
to
mean,
meet everybody in the tour.
well, obviously I'm Turkish, right? So John and I and Hande's husband and some others, and Nazan Hoca is here. I didn't see her, but yeah, we all went to high school together. We're all from, we're at Kodesh, the same class. But so I may be biased, but Turkish students are prepared a little bit better. Um, I'm keeping India out of my comment, but compared to other countries in Europe, we really like try harder. Our kids are more prepared. So I think they're wonderful students to work with. Yeşim Türker asks, okay, would you be able to comment on pricing of your courses? There's a personal question on that. Do you feel comfortable, or maybe you can reach
Yeah,
out?
I mean, that's okay. Most of our pricings are in the range of $70 to $85, depending on which course you're looking at. For the English proficiency courses, it's slightly on the lower side, so it's about $50 an hour. The rest, all of the courses range in $70 to $85 range, depending on what course you're asking for.
Oh, so I'm gonna answer because I answered to a personal message by mistake, but the question was, where will the meeting be in Istanbul? It's not a meeting, it'll be like a small fair with like 20 or so institutions, mostly universities. It'll be at Çevre Lisesi on the Anatolian side, on October 15. It'll be at the end of the day. So if you're done with school, you can come. Just come. And guess what? If those times don't work out, just call us, contact Admittance Education through our website, or if you have our information just through WhatsApp. If you want to, maybe interact with any of the institutions, we can tell the representative there's a parent interested in speaking with you. Sometimes they can accommodate that, like before we start the tour or sometime after the tour. So just let us know. So we'll have a list of schools, and research institution, and Reema is coming as well. So we'll advertise those in advance very soon, actually, like probably in early September. We'll advertise those. And thank you for the question. So looks like we're good, unless there are other questions. Okay. Well, maybe we can take a screenshot. Hande, maybe you can help with this. Maybe we can take a screenshot and we can put it in the group chat too, if anybody wants to contact Reema from those groups as well. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
We
I hope
appreciate
you guys had a
it.
good time. I had a great time
Yeah, we did
kind of
too.
giving out the information. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me.
Thanks for doing
Thank
this.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reema.
Thank you, John. I am.
folks don't trail off, so I'm having to remove them, but not report manually.
Okay, perfect.
Are
It's
there
okay, they can
any,
join.
yeah, just wanted to say thank you that, you know,
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry it
Reema.
was so loud here when
No,
I removed it off
This
mute.
is
Sorry
very
about that.
useful.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
very
Thank you
I
so
have
much. I
to-
tried my bit to do a little bit and
But there's-
giving out the
You're gonna get parent calls, right? Obviously, there's interest. Yeah. So no, and
Oh.
we're telling people, and let's just try it out, and you know, so
Yeah.
far so good. And we
Good.
appreciate.
Reema, can you share your contact again? Contact
I'll-
number and
I'll
your.
share it with you.
I
on
couldn't
WhatsApp.
reach. Yeah, I
I'll share
couldn't
it with you.
catch it.
I took a screenshot so I can anyway.
If you can send me, that's okay. I can share it with the groups.
I already did.
Thank
I-
you.
I just
Is
sent
it?
it to you.
Thank you.
But what you want to do is maybe put the screen shot also, so then they can see
Yes.
Edufit and they can look at
Uh-huh.
the website to see.
Yes. I'll
Thank
do
you.
it.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
See
Bye-bye.
you. See you, Rima.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Enjoy. See you. Bye.